Thank you, Deezer. We decided to go ahead with these awards despite all the current difficulties resulting from the pandemic, because it's such a life-affirming thing to do. These awards are all about celebrating the achievements of London pub theatres. This year, we also have our Standing Ovation Awards. Nominations date back to April 2019, so they cover a full year of excellent theatre. Our first Standing Ovation Award for new play, Raising Awareness, will be presented by Chris Lilly. Chris, little introduction for him. He read drama at Hull University in the 70s, stage managed a bit, spent 8 years as a community arts worker in Tower Hamlets. He's done a lot. Did the occasional tech job, then taught in East London and participated in shed loads of community theatre. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Heather. It's my great pleasure to announce the winner of the Standing Ovation Award for a new play, Raising Awareness. The nominations are Netflix and Chill, written by Tom Stocks, directed by Luke Adamson and performed by Tom Stocks. Joseph Lindo, Julie Binch and Emily Ellis at the Drayton Arms in Kensington. It deals humorously and sensitively with the millennial world of work, dating, drink, drugs and sex, and also treats of depression and the growing incidence of suicide among young men. Empty an Angel by James Wolfe was a solo performance by Darcy Willison at the White Bear Theatre in Kennington. It looks at the gig economy from the point of view of a cycle messenger, with a dazzling cast of characters all played by Miss Willison. It makes telling political points with great economy and wit. And The Bevin Boys by Viv Edwards, starring Tom Taplin and David Anglin at Pentameters Theatre in Hampstead. It tells the story of the boys who were drafted to work in the coal mines during World War II, who replaced the miners who joined the military. The scheme was introduced by Ernest Bevin, the Minister of Labour in Churchill's cabinet, and the young men conscripted into the industry were called Bevin Boys. The play shows them in their efforts to deal with the demons of danger and fatigue in deep mines and with the personal demons that they brought with them. And the winner is The Bevin Boys.
Oh my gosh. I hope you can hear me. I'm Viv Edwards. I'm so honoured and excited. Well, actually, I'm excited to be excited at my age. So, but firstly, can I say, take a huge bow, Heather, and everyone at London Pub Theatres magazine for bringing light and joy into our difficult lives at the moment, and for emphasising how theatre can raise awareness in so many areas. It's a reminder of all things positive about theatre, fringe theatre, pub theatres. My dream of having a play performed came true last year. This evening is the sweet, sweet icing on an already wonderful cake. Please allow me to thank people. From the original spark of an idea from my first playwriting tutor, Gemma Kennedy at City Lit 8 years ago, who has since denied giving me the idea, but she did. Gemma, I'm sorry, you haven't been very well lately. I hope you are recovering. Then loads of valuable input from my playwriting group, the London Playsmiths, known as placemats, owing to a predictive text misunderstanding, who read and discussed each stage oh so constructively. So thanks to Pat, Anne, Fahima, Rachel, Louv, Pat, Peter, Sean, Annabelle, Caroline, Jess and Joe. Thanks also to Rebecca Hammond at Chippy Lane Productions for giving me a slot at their first scratch night at the London Welsh Centre, which inspired me to finish the play. Then having sent the finished play to Leonie at Pentameters, I know you're out there, I can see you, Leonie, who said, "Oh, this 2-hour, 7-character play of yours wouldn't work here, darling, but I suggested a more intense two-hander with the two most interesting characters would work. Would work, magic words, and that's what happened." So thanks to Leonie and Godfrey, and then the people who made it happen. My wonderful director and dramaturg, Jasmine, who saw in the play how ordinary people deal with extraordinary events. how the government failed to protect the youth, and how boys become men. And of course, my two brilliant Bevin boys, David Angland and Tom Taplin, who made us believe in them, and the Pentameter's crew, Robin Williams, Sis Min, and Benjamin Wong. Thanks, I'm not going to go on. Parting message from me, stay positive. Despite everything, dreams do come true. Thank you very much indeed, everyone.
Thank you, Viv Edwards. The next award is for Standing Ovation for Theatrical Innovation. It will be presented by Sean Rowland. Little introduction for Sean. By day, Sean is an education advisor, trainer and author. And by night, she is playwright, reviewer and script reader. Sean.
Thank you, Heather. So as a reviewer, it's always inspiring experiencing what can be done with often tiny spaces and limited budgets. So our 4 nominees not only use the space of some of our favourite pub theatres in clever and imaginative ways, they also used film, live music, sound, description and set to take us from the drizzly streets of modern London to the high seas via 17th century Salem and a dystopian landscape, which seems a little bit more familiar now we're all going through 2020. Our first nominee is Empty an Angel by James Wolfe at the Old Red Lion, a searing look at the gig economy from the point of view of a cycle courier. This production not only took us into the streets via the fixed bike on stage, it also made clever and dizzying use of GoPro footage from professional bike courier Giovanni Overkill Adebayo. Our second nominee is Moby Dick at the ever-ambitious Jack Studio. Douglas Baker from So It Goes Theatre described the book as a bizarre and puzzling novel, and the ambition and determination to bring such a complex novel to stage and succeed is impressive. With modern sea shanties and spectacular multimedia production, it brought the audience right onto the high seas. Award-winning company Out of the Forest Theatre transformed the Hope into a cauldron of witchy storytelling, where audience members were greeted by a group of swaying, ethereal women inviting us into their story for Call Me Fury. We admired this production for the scope and pace of the story, the sheer energy of the actor musicians, and the way they used the small size of the Hope as an advantage to create a piece of gig theatre that spans the millennia. Stepping into the Old Red Lion for The Noises by Jacqueline Safra was like stepping into the pages of a dystopian novel come to life. Not only was this a clever and terrifying tale, it featured one actor performing as a dog, and she was really very good. This production also used an audio-described introduction and offered touch tours. Pub theatres can struggle with accessibility as they're often upstairs and there are narrow and dark corners. So it was really welcome to see a production working on inclusivity, more please. We're always blown away by the scope and ambition of the productions we see in pub theatres, and we can't wait to see what these companies come up with next. And of course, we can't wait to be back in all our pub theatres again. So many congratulations to all our nominees, the hard work that's done by all their cast and crew. And I'm really thrilled to announce that the winner of the London Pub Theatre's innovative play is Call Me Fury by Out of the Forest Theatre.
There we are.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's really amazing. Sorry,
thank you so much.
This was, what a lovely thing to get dressed up for on a Sunday. What fun. And I think we really need a reminder to keep up the hope theatre and keep up hope in theatre in general. And it's just a really great thing to have an event like this.
Yeah.
That theatre is viable and the stories are important. I don't really have very much more to say, except I'd like to thank some of the other people that were involved. Our producer, Claire Gilbert, Hannah Howard King, who helped direct and helped with some dramaturgical work on the show, to our design team, Holly Ellis, Will Alder, David Spence, and Helen Stewart, and for our lovely fellow nominee, Matthew Parker, for giving us a home at the Hope Theatre. Our extremely talented cast, Rhea Hawthorne, Olivia Kennett, and Gracie Lai, and finally to the Vault Festival and to the North Wall and Ellie Keel for giving us a chance to develop and workshop the show as it came into its final form.
It went through a few different lives before it got to the stage at the Hope Theatre. So yeah, thank you to everybody who helped us on that journey. And we managed to just squeeze in another show in March this year, which was wonderful. But we hope it's not too long before we can be back with you all in a live space and venue. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sasha and Joe, Out of the Forest Theatre. The next award is Standing Ovation for Comedy, and Chris will present this.
Hi. Yeah, comedy. Really, really good thing to remember at the moment. I'm delighted to present this year's Standing Ovation Award for Comedy. The three nominees are Oopsie Daisy by Holly McFarlane, which was put on at the Cat Space Theatre in Southwark. It was performed by Rory Fairburn and Holly McFarlane. It dealt with Me Too politics, sexual abuse, and celebrity entitlement. It did it wittily, economically, and with a magnificent and well-earned twist. Happily Ever Pufter was created and performed by Rich Watkins. It was directed by Denholm Spur at the King's Head Theatre in Islington. It's a one-man parody musical show which explores society's absolute refusal to acknowledge same-sex romance in children's media. The story follows Prince Henry of the Southern Vales, the only gay in the kingdom, and his pursuit of love and acceptance. Assisted by his fairy godfather, Prince Henry finds himself in the 21st century and fully immerses himself in the modern gay scene, learning all about the wonders, excitement, perils, and pitfalls of being a gay man. The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, adapted by Derek Webb, was put on at the Jack Studio Theatre in Brockley, featuring three actors, Sean Cambers, Matthew Parker, and Scott Oswald, in multiple parts and costumes, quick scene changes, and a ripping yarn that made for a cheery alternative to panto at Christmas time. The winner is Happily Ever Pufter.
Wow. Oh my goodness, I wasn't really actually expecting that at all. And winning the Standing Ovation Award for comedy, I really feel the pressure now to be very funny. But I actually feel quite moved seeing everyone, and I don't know, it's been a very weird journey for Happily Ever Pufter because it was really taking off, and then obviously lockdown happened. So when I wrote it back in 2019, it seemed like a strange dream then that I was ever going to perform it. And now it seems like a strange dream that I ever did it. But nevertheless, I'm so grateful for this award. And being a one-man show, we're actually quite popular at the moment. So we probably will be doing it again, socially distanced, hopefully. I have to thank Denholm Spur, first of all. First and foremost, it's his show as much as it is mine. He talked me back from the edge many times. He actually made me go on stage a few times when I didn't want to, and he helped create this show in every way. Thank you to Simone Murphy, the choreographer of the show. I'm not a dancer, she knows that. So she made me move with style. I suppose I should thank Disney for letting us rip off their brand entirely. It's quite fitting this is a Standing Ovation Award because we use the Disney effect to manipulate the audience to stand up every night and give us a standing ovation, which was quite thrilling. Thank you to everyone at the King's Head, Richard Lambert and Adam Sprague-Mayer. Thank you to the RVT for first giving the show its life. Thank you to everyone that's ever worked on the show, including my mum, because she worked on it too. Yeah, I'm quite moved. This is very strange to be. The show's about community, and it really feels like our community is struggling at the moment. But I'd like to dedicate this award to all the young people who can't go and see theatre and can't know what it's like to be in an audience at the moment. I have the privilege of working with children at the moment and knowing that they can't be in a theatre and see the stories that we get to see and get to tell. breaks my heart. So I hope that they will be again soon.
Mm.
Thank you.
Well said, Rich Watkins. The next award is for Standing Ovation for Outstanding Theatricality. This is to be presented by Richard Brain. Richard is head of our awards panel. He's actor of stage and screen, director and playwright. Richard.
Am I right? Can people hear me? Right. There have been many productions we've seen this year that could be commended in this category, but two plays stand head and shoulders above the rest. These are Tryst by Carolyn Leach, presented at the Chiswick Playhouse and represented here by the director and actor Fred Perry and Wayne Glover Stewart, and The House of Yes by Wendy MacLeod, directed by Matthew Parker at the Hope Pub Theatre. Tryst is based on a true story. Our reviewer at LPT, David Weir, described this as a play given stunning new life in this production. Two brilliant performances, superb script, and beautiful, efficient staging. He went on to say, it's utterly gripping from the first and has an ending that earns one of those silences before the applause that can be one of the most chilling things in theatre. And he finishes his piece with the line, perfect, heartbreaking drama that might be the best, not just in pub theatre, but in London right now. A pretty special production indeed. The House of Yes is a tremendous piece of work by Wendy MacLeod. The momentum of the plot is driven by the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It is the darkest of comedies, and as the playwright avers, it is a suburban Jacobean tragedy. It had wonderful performances throughout, notably from Colette Eaton and Bart Lambert. The play is extremely thought-provoking, alarming, and very, very funny. But it's the sheer brilliance of the production, orchestrated by the absolute master director, Matthew Parker, that elevates it into the very echelons of greatness. It was too difficult a task to separate these two wonderful productions, so this award, quite rightly, is shared between the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah. And here is Matthew Parker.
Hi, hello everyone. It's lovely to see you sitting here in my pajamas. Thank you so much, Richard. That was lovely, and congratulations to our fellow winner. That's brilliant. Just some quick thank yous. First of all, to London Pub Theatre, to Heather, to Sean, to Richard, to Disa, to all of you. It's absolutely brilliant what you do, and you've really helped me a lot over the years, and you've really helped me this year. So thank you so much. I have to obviously thank our brilliant cast, Jill and Kaya and Bart and Fergus and Colette, and our wonderful team, Laurel and Toby and Rachel and Luthea and Simon and Saoirse and Tamsin and Dewi, who worked so hard on our wonderful, bizarre transatlantic accents. The Hope Theatre team, thank you so much. All the front of house team that I had there. This was my final show at the Hope, and yeah, obviously I really miss it. I'd miss it anyway, and I massively miss it this year. So this feels really special. Thank you so much. Thanks to our Board of Trustees, to James, Andy, all of the staff there, anyone who came to see the show, anyone who wrote something nice about it, or not, or tweeted about it and supported us. Thank you so much. The show is about a family who are all trapped together and have a nightmare weekend. How very 2020 that feels. And finally, however, a huge thanks to my husband, Brian, who's always encouraged me to be my really weird, creepy, giggly self. Thank you so much, and cheers to everybody. Thank you.
And Fred Perry.
Well, first of all, thank you very much indeed. And but I feel slightly undressed after my co-winner has completely outdone me in the style stakes. So that's hugely embarrassing, is the first point. The second point, thank you very, very much indeed for this. It's really hugely appreciated. It was a show that sort of came as a labour of love, really, between an entire production team. So it was one of those really great moments where all the creative team were all part of it right from the outset. We had Phoebe Barron, who directed it, and Jessica Staton on the set design and theme design, and Chris McDonnell on lights, and Dave McSeveny, who we managed to coerce down from the Royal Court for a week or two to come and help us. And we all sat in a room, sort of imprisoned ourselves away for some time to create it. And we're really pleased that that people enjoyed the end result. So thank you very, very much. It's a story about a mass murder. It's 90 minutes of pure misery. So that I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. I mean, it was desperately dark, but it was great fun to involve with, and thank you very, very much for this, and thank you for mounting. I think it's a great initiative, the London Pub Theatre organisation. I think it's great that you're doing this. This was one of the opening show at one of the opening shows in the sort of newly relaunched Chiswick Playhouse, and you've really helped us to build some profile and get some names out there. So thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Fred and Matthew, and for those kind words. The next award is the Standing Ovation for Best Production, transferred from outside London. And our presenter for this is Kate Pettigrew. Kate is Fleet Street journalist and playwright. Kate.
Hello, everyone. The finalists for the Best Production transferred from outside London are two Welsh companies who brought 4 plays to London. A Prayer for Wings by Sean Mathias transferred to the King's Head from Swansea Grand, and the Other Room Theatre in Cardiff gave us the Violence series at Theatre 503. This was 3 plays: The Story by Tess Berry Hart, directed by David Mercatali, American Nightmare by Matthew Bulgo, directed by Sarah Lloyd, and Hella by Mary Izzard, directed by Dan Jones. Audiences had a very rare chance to see award-winning playwright Sean Mathias direct his 1985 play, A Prayer for Wings. It tells the story of a mother bedridden from multiple sclerosis, living in a derelict church in Swansea with her daughter as her carer. It explores the conflict of caring and being cared for, set against hopes and dreams. It was described by our reviewer as gripping, with a fantastic script, pristine direction, and outstanding performances. The first play from the Other Room Theatre was The Story. It was inspired by writer Tess Berry Hart's work with refugees in Calais and Libya. It begins with a charity worker returning home to be processed through immigration. It shouldn't take long, should it? She asks a government official. Bad move. We descend into a Kafka-esque world and Guantanamo-style jumpsuits, because why does the charity worker need clothes, or a lawyer, if she tells the state she's done nothing wrong? The second play was Hella by Mary Izzard, a claustrophobic story of kidnap. A young blooded man is handcuffed in an abattoir, being questioned in a language that he doesn't seem to understand, Welsh. The idea of being tortured and not knowing what you're being asked added terror to this bilingual production. But clever use of a Siri-like device, appropriately called Myfanwy, was integrated into the play, and it allowed Welsh and non-Welsh speakers to understand exactly what was happening. Terrifying. The third play, American Nightmare, is a dystopian thriller where a buttoned-down Englishman is offered a business opportunity by a no-nonsense American. Others being offered an opportunity are a good old Southern boy and a dumpster diver. They have enrolled on a mysterious programme at a military base and are cooped up together in a grey cell-like room monitored by microchips implanted in them. The writing by Matthew Bulgo veers from black comedy to terror, with the theme of what we will and won't do for money. These 3 plays were highly rated for acting, directing and production, and a special mention went to their amazing sets, cleverly thought out to hopefully travel well and take us to 3 very different scary worlds. The winner of the best transfer from outside London is the amazing company that produced these last 3 plays, the Other Room Theatre in Cardiff.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Diolch yn fawr, thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to begin by saying thank you to London Pub Theatres. What a privilege it is to be included in such an uplifting event. Congratulations also to Sean and his entire company, King's Head, and to the Swansea Grand, which is a theatre very close to my heart personally. And next, a thanks to Theatre 503 for welcoming us and providing us a home to show our work in London, and for taking a big risk programming all 3 productions in tandem. But the biggest thanks has to go to the cast and creatives who brought this monster of a project to life. I really see this award as an acknowledgement of all of your hard work, your dedication, and your ambition to tackle such big ideas in a small space. There are far too many people involved in this project to name check. So I'll just thank those who are on this call right now. So thank you to our writers, Tess, Mary, Matthew, and to our directors, Sarah and Dave, and to George, our executive producer, for being the beating heart of this project. Yeah, we're delighted with this and incredibly proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. David Weir will be presenting the next 2 awards. David is award-winning published playwright. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Heather. The next category for the Standing Ovation Awards is for the best rediscovery or adaptation. So much of what we look for as reviewers is innovation, is freshness, is excitement. And the brilliant thing about the rediscovery of old plays, the brilliant thing about the adaptation of works from other media, is that all those things can exist and be found in brand new ways through a new theatrical production. The 3 nominees are A Christmas Carol at the Bridge House Theatre. Probably the most familiar of the 3 works in front of us, one that we all know and have known since childhood, but one in which the addition of music, some cello, 3 actors playing all the parts can just enliven and throw a new light on something which is so familiar. Our second is The Wind of Heaven by Emlyn Williams, directed by Will Maynard at the Finborough Theatre. This is a rediscovery of a play from the middle of the last century, the newest of the works, although probably older than almost all of us here. It's part of the Finborough's amazing record of reviving plays which deserve another outing and bringing plays back to us to see again. Something which has been part of the Finborough's programme throughout its existence, something which they may long continue to do. And the third of our shows, the third of our nominations, is Moby Dick, Herman Melville's amazing novel, but probably one of the great unread classics of the world now, which, as has been mentioned already in a previous nomination, the Jack Studio Theatre at Brockley did. Now, I think if you took a giant whale and put it into the Jack Studio Theatre, you would fill probably the stage and half the auditorium. And the ambition, the vision, the ability to get a story of that scale into a space like that in such an amazing way is a testament to the work that is done at the Jack. The winner of our best rediscovery or adaptation is The Wind of Heaven at the Finborough.
Oh, wow, thank you so much for this. It's I think nearly a year since we started rehearsals for the show, and obviously so much has happened in the last few months that it feels a bit like a distant memory. So it's lovely to be reminded that it still holds a place in some people's memory. It's very heartening news. So thank you to London Pub Theatres for this honour, and congratulations to all the finalists and all the other winners. We're in such good company and it feels very, very humbling. I just have a few thank yous. Our extraordinary cast: Christy Phillips, Rhiannon Needs, Louise Brecon-Richards, who's on the call, David Whitworth, Jamie Wilkes, Cyril Thomas, Mel Woodbridge, Ben Barker, Bruno Ventovim, and our outstanding production team, the design team: Ceci Kalf, Isabel Pello, Ryan Stafford, Julian Starr, our composer Rhiannon Drake, co-producers Bertie Taylor-Smith on the call, Jonathan Taylor, stage management team Charlotte Brown and Chloe Sayer, and my assistant director Miles O'Gorman. Also thanks to Andrea Hazel-Lewis, Tom Bevan, Tom O'Fowler, Dan Jones from the other room, Paul Griffiths for all their extra support, and of course our donors and supporters. And I just wanted to say a particular thank you to the Finborough Theatre, because the support that we were given to realise this show was just extraordinary. No task was too menial and no hour too antisocial to call for help. And as we all know, when you're fighting battles on several fronts, producing a fringe show, you need good people in your corner. And I can honestly say you don't get much better than Neil McPherson and his team. I know I speak on behalf of the whole company for this show and more widely, in wishing them the very best of luck riding out this most dreadful of storms. Thank you to my partner Luke, who has been amazing and giving so much support over the last year and longer, as difficult as it's been. And just finally, this story, The Wind of Heaven, it narrates kind of the tale of a broken community coming together in the wake of an awful disease. The little Welsh village of Blestyn in the story reclaim their shared purpose and faith in resistance to the kind of selfish individualism that's plaguing Victorian society more widely, and would otherwise prey on their common humanity. We didn't know what was just around the corner, obviously, a few months later. But perhaps now more than ever, the play reminds us that we do need stories which give an optimistic account of who we are and what we can do when we all work together, which is why it's so heartening to see everyone here. If the tale connected with people 75 years after its original production, then I'm thrilled that we were able to share it. And my final thanks has to go to our visionary playwright and his supportive estate, the late, great Emlyn Williams. Thank you.
Thank you, Will, and congratulations. And I'd follow what you said on Emlyn Williams. If people haven't read his work, then they certainly ought to. We're moving on to the next and last of our Standing Ovation Awards. This one is for the best production of all of the year. And we have multiple nominees, so forgive me if I go through them slightly more swiftly than has been the case before. I was talking about the Jack in Brockley at the end of the last award. It's the Jack again, with Chaplin, Birth of a Tramp, first of all. The Jack has formed a remarkable partnership with the company Arrows and Traps. They've produced numerous amazing shows, the most recent of which, from our point of view, was this clever, haunting, atmospheric show in which the old Charlie Chaplin watches his younger self emerging via, and I think this is a genius touch, an entirely silent younger actor, and becoming the little tramp that we all know. Our second nomination is for a trilogy of short plays, Nuclear War, Buried, and Graceland at the Old Red Lion Theatre. 3 plays for the price of 1, what can be better than that? And an evening in which you have a linking theme offering you a night of fairly deep thought. Call Me Fury by Sasha Wilson, produced by Out of the Forest at the Hope, you have heard about already this afternoon rather. Music, direct address, dramatised scenes, a quick tour of the history of witchcraft from Salem onwards, and a bit of a kicking for Arthur Miller's version of history, if not his dramatic eye, bringing us up to the modern day. At Last by James Lewis and Alexander Knott at the Lion and Unicorn Theatre, directed by David Brady. Reminder of the good old days of 2019 when we all, well, 48% of us, thought that Brexit was the worst thing that could happen. This dystopia put a crazed authoritarian right-wing government in charge of Britain, and who knew that that could possibly happen? Finally, 2 shows of which you've already heard before this evening. Tryst at the Chiswick Playhouse. Richard Brain has already read my own words on that amazing version of the Brides in the Bath story. Quite a remarkable show. And finally, The House of Yes at the Hope, which shared the earlier award with Tryst. Dark suburban Jacobean tragedy of family disintegration, and making you laugh as you're thinking can never be a bad thing, particularly right now. Those are our 6 nominations, and our winner is Chaplin, Birth of a Tramp at the Jack with Arrows and Traps.
Oh, hello. Hi. Well, bloody hell. It's an honour to have been nominated alongside so many great companies. And the first and foremost, what we need to say as a company, my name is Chris and I'm the producer of the company, is to thank Kate and Carl at the Jack Studio for their tremendous support, for believing in the show, and for all of the support that they've always given us as an associate company there. They're 2 of the most involved and passionate and skilled and talented and loving people on the Fringe today. We'd also like to thank all of our cast and creative team for Chaplin for all of their magnificent work. But in particular, I would like to thank Lucy Ioannou and Connor Moss, who did such a phenomenal job in bringing Chaplin, a screen icon, to life. And also to Ross McGregor, the artistic director of the theatre company. One of the advantages of being the producer is that I can actually give him some credit, who's directed all of our shows, and he only wrote and directed Chaplin, so not much at all in terms of a commitment to the job. This award comes in a particularly difficult year for all of us, I think, in many ways. We started by having our first national tour of a different show. So it was a huge next step for us as a company. And indeed, that was supposed to follow with Chaplin going on tour. It was supposed to be touring from May to July. But suddenly, as it's appeared for all of us, all of that's been cancelled, and there seem to be bigger issues at play, and as a result, theatre seems to have been pushed to the side. Now, Chaplin, at its heart, surprise, shocker, wasn't really about Charlie Chaplin that much. For Ross, especially at the core, it was about being an artist. That's why I think he had a company that bought into the whole idea of the show. And it's about both the tough sacrifices that we all make as part of being a creative endeavor, both with our families and financially and sanity and all of those kind of things, but also the importance of the creative spark, the shared endeavor, the shared experience. And it's evenings like this kind of make us know why that's all kind of like worth it. The fact that we can get back up, that we can write it all down, we can get it all out, and that we can hopefully come back stronger. So I'd like to say thank you also to the brilliant fellow nominees that we had, also to the people who are running these venues in extremely difficult circumstances, for the opportunity that you give companies like us, like Arrows and Traps, like all of our fellow nominees, the work that you do behind the scenes, that you keep going, giving us the opportunity to be seen. It's only fair that we see you, the work that you continue to do, so that we don't feel that we're alone. We need small studio spaces to shout in at the end of the day. And also, I'd like to say thank you to the London Pub Theatres team, the work of Heather, Richard, Sean, all the rest of the team as well. You come to the shows, you engage with our creative process. You have the energy to preview us, retweet us, support us in every way, unless you review us badly, in which case we bury it and pretend you don't exist. So thank you, because without you, we wouldn't have that community feel. Finally, just to wrap up, sorry, Charlie Chaplin once said that imagination means nothing without doing. And that's what we at Arrows and Traps look forward to doing, is returning to the doing in the near future. I hope there is a day soon, and whether that is on Zoom or on YouTube or even in person in theatre, that we can get back to doing, because there's nothing quite like it. But all we can say in the meantime is thank you on behalf of the company.
Thank you very much, Chris Tester, for those lovely things you said about our team, and also for so much about pub theatres themselves, which was very fitting, because we're now coming to the London Pub Theatre of the Year winners. These are our major awards for the pub theatres and their directors. Firstly, we have a commendation for services to pub theatres, and Emma Zadow will present this. Emma is professional actor and writer. Emma.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Commendation services for pub theatre. Yay, here we go, guys. In a year of theatre being pushed to the limit, one theatre has been pushing back. This team has kept their feet firmly on the ground, with commitment not only to reopening safely, but also a commitment to finding and nurturing new voices from underrepresented backgrounds. It reopened in August with twice-day shows under COVID-19 safe negotiations and regulations. Go you guys, better than me pronouncing that. They made sure that audiences were loyal and newly welcomed. Artistic quality, equality and diversity are at the forefront of the theatre's programming, which features visiting companies as well as in-house productions, with a focus on new writing and underrepresented voices and distinctive, unique work. This theatre has worked with award-winning ensembles with decades of experience, but also frequently welcomes emerging companies taking their first steps and supporting theatre makers by providing box office split deals with no hidden fees. In 2015, the theatre's team also went on to launch the Clapham Fringe Festival, as well as their own Playwriting Award and Emerging Companies Award. I am proud to have performed there as an itty-bitty graduate and to be consistently blown away by its diversity and artistic support for the commendation services to pub theatres. Congratulations, Tessa Hart, Valencia Spearpoint and Rebecca Pryle of the Bread and Roses Theatre.
Hello, Valencia.
Hello, hello. I'm going to pass over to Rebecca first.
Okay.
Our little speech.
Rebecca.
Hiya. Hello. So we are so grateful to be in a position to run a Fringe venue in London, a journey that has brought much joy to all of us, including our extended small team, the wonderful visiting companies that work with us, and the pub we are based at, whom we would like to say the biggest thank you possible to. It has given us our own space that we can call home, to put up our own work as well as producing our Fringe Festival each year and giving opportunities to young, emerging and established talent. The first stones for the Bread and Roses Theatre were laid in 2012. We had no money or resources, but lots of passion, enthusiasm, creativity, hard work, and the readiness to put in endless unpaid hours. A situation faced in the arts are too often, arts all too often, and yet we persevere.
I'll take it from here.
Okay, is that Valencia?
Tessa.
Oh, Tessa. Okay, can't see you. Okay, there you are.
Hello. Just the same as we persevered in the early days of the Bread and Roses Theatre company, which led to us being able to launch our theatre venue above the Bread and Roses pub in 2014. And the past 6 years since then have been an incredible adventure, an endless challenge, and at the same time, a wonderful gift. The essence of our theatre was always to advance artistic quality, equality, as well as the representation of our society's real diversity. It was to empower unheard voices and perspectives, to enable artists to grow, develop, and create regardless of their background and resources, to show and reflect on society in a more honest, fearless, and radical way. Just like many of the artists we have thus worked with, we have also not followed any established path, but always paved our own. Nowadays, even working across countries and Brexit borders.
So the future right now feels uncertain, or at least more so than usual. And we continue to remain grateful for all the work record, outreach and community we've built in the past years, and that's been getting us through these current challenges. And so grateful for the funding and support received. Pub theatres, independent arts, free voices become more important than ever in times when they're under threat. And we prepare to gear up and move forward with even more strength and creativity to break through ceilings and hard borders, to make sure that Black Lives Matter. And to keep learning and improving and questioning and challenging ourselves. It's been an exciting journey so far, and we'll do everything we can to continue to keep Fringe Theatre alive, diverse and exciting. Thank you so much to the London Pub Theatre Awards for this unexpected recognition, which we will honour moving forward. And thank you for all the hard work you do promoting and supporting pub theatres.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. From Valencia, Rebecca and Tessa, and congratulations. Our next award is the Lifetime Achievement Award, and this will be presented by David.
Thanks, Heather. The London Pub Theatres Award is effectively celebrating its first birthday today, a very short lifetime indeed. And yet many of the people who we see, whose work we see, who we deal with, have, if not lifetimes yet, then very long and detailed careers in the business, producing amazing work. The painter James Whistler, when he was asked why he could charge quite so much money for a few hours painting a portrait, famously replied that you weren't buying his few hours time, you were buying his lifetime of experience. Mm-hmm. And that lifetime of experience is reflected in the work which is produced by the two people we're about to honour here. I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I'm not going to do the Hitchcock suspense thing here and say that John and Katie Plews at the Gatehouse Theatre, upstairs at the Gatehouse up in Highgate, are our award winners here. They are known to all of you. John is the chair of the Society of Independent Theatres, in which capacity right now he is doing work which he would, I'm sure, much rather not be doing, but which all of us should be massively, massively grateful to him for. He trained at LAMDA. He did the technical course there. He spent several years in rep. He has produced shows on cruise liners around the world. And anyone, I defy anyone who has seen a show at the Upstairs not to work out, even if you didn't think it was the best thing you'd ever seen, having utterly enjoyed yourself, being utterly impressed by the sheer professionalism of what you've seen. They've had a partnership for over 30 years. They do much more in the local community than Upstairs itself. They're involved in local festivals. They are exactly the kind of life force within a theatre which we might all want to be. Few of us can achieve as much, and I am more than delighted to say that they receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from London Pub Theatres this year.
Yeah. Okay, and here are John and Katie Clues.
Are we unmuted?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, if I'm talking to everyone, I'll have to just be socially aware that, no, all right, okay. I hadn't have it with me. Thank you so much, London Pub Theatres, for, you see, one of the problems, I love this award, and Katie and I are thinking, yes, thank you, but it does prove that we're old. And I've realised now that if you are getting sort of a little bit ancient, there's three good things. You get a freedom pass, which they're thinking of doing away with. You get a free flu jab, which we just got, and you get a Lifetime Achievement Award. What more can life hold? I don't know where to start thanking people. We did start, 1985. It seems like so long ago, and I think I did have a look. We've done just over 800 productions since then. And I'd like to thank all the people that were involved with each one. So if you don't mind. Now, the first, no, all right, I won't. I would love to thank my family who, just have been, a lot of you know our two daughters, Raki and Jessica, and they've been with us all the way. I threw them in at the deep end, didn't we? We did. Yeah. When we first started, upstairs at the Gatehouse, I remember Jessica working the sound desk on one show, and on one tour that we sent out from the Gatehouse, we said to Raki, go on the tour. Oh, by the way, you're driving the van, you're stage manager, you're the choreographer, and go and get on with it. And she did 83 dates around the UK. So they've been amazingly supportive. And luckily for us and for them and for everybody else, they both married into the industry. So both their husbands now help us in extraordinary ways. Along the way, we've had just so much support. Our patrons aren't watching this, but we're damn well going to tell them that we've won this, without whom we just couldn't run upstairs at the Gatehouse. You know, we've just got a grant from the Cultural Recovery Fund. I think we're supposed to, it was part of the, as many of you listening there will know, we're supposed to thank the DCMS and the Arts Council for the award publicly. Thanks. But mainly I'd like to thank our patrons, because in between last 17th of March and last Monday when we got the award, we needed support. We need to keep going. And our patrons just have been amazing and have supported us and kept us going. And David, thank you for your very kind words, because I'd like to thank Heather and London Pub Theatres for supporting the Society of Independent Theatres. They even got us a couple of new members a while back. So I said to Heather, there's a couple of people who should be joining. She said, I'll write to them straight away. So she did. And so Heather, thank you for all the good work you do with London Pub Theatres. And it runs in alongside the Society of Independent Theatres. And we have been lobbying the government like mad for the last 6 months, and hopefully it paid off. I know there's one or two disappointed people last Monday, but most of us got what we asked for. Who else should we thank?
I think Jeffrey's on here as well, isn't
he? Is Jeffrey on here? We're not sure who's on here, but anyone who's on here who knows us, or who's been to the Gatehouse, or has performed at the Gatehouse, or would like to perform at the Gatehouse, thank you so much for all your support over the years. There's one or two of us who've been around a long time. I noticed Michael from the White Bear earlier on when we were scanning through. Michael, I think, just probably beats us. We've been at the Gatehouse 23 years, and we just, we can't do it. Carl, amazing. Carl rang me about 5 years ago and said, would you like some new seats? Yes, of course. Well, I know a college that are giving them away for free and they're nearly new. And that's the sort of support. We took a truck over now and we got new seats. But that's the sort of support we've had from other theatres. And, you know, we ring each other up and say, oh, have you worked with so-and-so? Or do you happen to have a couple of flats we can borrow? Has anyone got my Titanic life jackets? Because we've lost a couple. Anyway, we might have lent them out, so pop them back, please. That'll do. That'll do. Yeah. Okay, but so we just obviously...
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely amazing. And this
we're very touched.
Yeah, and this will go on our on all our media things with larger letters than DCMS and ACE, but we will love the spread. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, John and Katie Clues, and many congratulations. What a wonderful theatrical family. So our next award is the runner-up for Pub Theatre of the Year, and Richard will present this.
Michael Kingsbury and the White Bear. When I told the very successful actor Lisa Bowerman I was going to present an award to Michael, she said, oh, please let me say something, please. So in Lisa's words, sometimes in this industry, all you want is to walk through the door of a venue and be greeted with a smile. Someone who understands what you do and loves what they do. Michael is that person. His endless encouragement of new writing and creative talent is boundless. He deserves this award many, many, many times over. Michael set up the White Bear in Kennington in 1989. It quickly became known as a venue for rediscovering lost classics and nurturing new writing. To begin with, it was little more than a room at the back of a pub. But with Peter Brook's words in mind, this empty space became the powerhouse theatre that is known throughout the world today. Michael has seen many of his plays transferred into the West End and toured nationally and internationally. He is rightly proud of many of the people who've cut their teeth with him at the White Bear, including Joe Penhill, Emily Watson, Tamsin Outhwaite, Vicky Featherstone, Torben Betts, and many, many more. Michael should also be congratulated on the technical innovations he's made at the White Bear Theatre. Full air conditioning, LED lighting, an exclusive foyer for theatre goers, and raked seating with plenty of legroom for everyone. In these very strange times, the White Bear has opened again with fully complied COVID-19 strategy and a very full programme for the next year. Not only that, Michael is responsible for a brand new theatre space at the Golden Goose in Camberwell. We wish it well. For any and for all of these reasons, Michael receives this award in 2020, and our huge thanks for all that he's done for theatre in this capital city of ours.
Could you unmute yourself?
Aha.
That's better.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard, for that those kind words. Indeed, very, very, very good to hear. And thank everyone at London Pub Theatres for their sustained support and incredible work since things being set up. I mean, it's just good that we're all here, that we've all had very dark thoughts over this period. And it's been gratifying to open the White Bear again with COVID restrictions. It's double the work. It's like checking onto a flight almost now. But we're all in there and we're fighting and we're keeping going. And it's particularly gratifying to see the enjoyment of audiences who are able to attend a live event again. Roll on the time when there's day testing, better track and taste, and a vaccine. Let's hope it comes soon. Also like to welcome, we've got 3 new associates at the White Bear. Tanya Truman, who's our new associate producer, Jonathan Pohl, who's our literary associate, and Chuma Emambolu, who is our technical associate. He's also Technical Associate at a couple of other places. Very excited about the future. It's the bonus of this period has been the connection with other pub theatres through the board of SIT and many Zoom conversations where we've shared problems essentially and tried to help each other. And Heather and London Pub Theatres have been part of that, to bringing people together. And I think in many ways the venues and the whole scene will come out of this stronger. And I hope that we keep communicating with each other via Zoom and meeting up online more regularly. But thank you very much for this award. It's really very honoured to get it. And let's keep going. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Michael. Not just one theatre, but two.
Yes.
Okay, the final award, Pub Theatre of the Year 2020. I have the great pleasure of presenting this myself. It goes to a theatre which has just reached a milestone birthday, 40 years, which has had to be celebrated in silence with doors shut. This is a theatre which has gained enormous respect for the quality of the productions, plays, and musicals alike, for presenting thought-provoking new work and rediscoveries from the 19th and 20th century, which allows us all to see work which might otherwise be lost. It must give hope to playwrights whose plays are sometimes likened to plastic thrown away after a single use. It is also a theatre which gives many opportunities to those placing themselves for a career in theatre, as well as working with international writers and stars of stage and screen. It has awarded many playwriting prizes, won numerous awards already, and launched the careers of umpteen theatre professionals. It's often called a tiny theatre above a pub, but we are talking about the mighty Finborough. London Pub Theatre of the Year is awarded to Neil McPherson, Artistic Director at the Finborough Theatre. Oh, you are here.
Yeah, hold on. I can't win this, I'm not Welsh, but we do have Henry Williams coming up. So thank you to London Pub Theatres for this wonderful award. I accept not just from myself, but from our Executive Director, Livy Perrett, who's here, and also our resident designer, who celebrates his 20th year with us next year, Alex Marker, who's also here. Also, I'd like to thank all of our wonderful volunteers, and above all our wonderful and viable freelancers who work with us. It would be fair to say that the 40th anniversary year hasn't quite gone the way that we planned, but this is a particularly welcome birthday present. And I very much hope that I'll be able to pick it up in person before I have to hand it to someone next year.
Okay. Thank you and congratulations. Here is the award. You might like to actually see it. It's going to be modelled by David.
I'm just going to step in to say that this is what will be coming your way as soon as we can possibly get it to you. A mask.
Is it COVID safe?
A mask you might be happy to wear at these current.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we're coming to the end now of our awards. I'd like to congratulate, first of all, I'm going to thank a few people. And first of all, I'm going to thank all our presenters. A thank you to Head Judge Richard Brain, to the awards team, to Deezer for running the technical, and to Finborough Theatre for the use of their professional Zoom. Now I'm going to congratulate all the winners, and thank you to everyone for joining us for London Pub Theatres Awards. If everyone could be unmuted and perhaps charge their glasses if you have one, then we could have a final cheers, 3 cheers. So I'll get mine out. Fill your glasses and we'll have, here we go. So if you'd like to raise your glasses, here's a toast, good health to London Pub Theatres, you're the best. Cheers.
Cheers. Well done, everyone.
Well done.
Well done, everybody.
Hey, well done.
Well done. Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah.
Well done from Australia.
Wow, thanks. That's a long way. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Heather, and the LPT.
Cheers.
Thank you, Heather.
I like the background, Heather. It's very, very
Yeah.
vibrant.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.